A former WWE champion wants to step through the forbidden door, and Tony Khan has revealed that a historic AEW deal is coming. But first, more Vince McMahon scandals look set to be revealed. Over the past 2 weeks, multiple allegations of sexual misconduct by Vince McMahon has been revealed by the Wall Street Journal, with WWE's head honcho said to have paid more than $12 million in hush money to cover up his wrongdoings. Amongst the claims are an alleged $7.5 million non-disclosure agreement to a former female wrestler, with McMahon said to have coerced her into sexual acts before demoting her and ultimately declining to renew her contract in 2005 after she resisted further encounters. With 4 stories now being public amid an investigation by WWE Board of Directors, it looks like there could be more allegations set to be released. Appearing on Busted Open Radio on Monday morning, the 2 reporters who broke the story, Joe Palazzoli and Ted Mann, would reveal that this likely isn't the end of the story. And Joe would note, "I think it's probably not done yet, and we're continuing to report. I can just say that we don't know about another $7.5 million NDA. If you're asking if there's something bigger than these $7.5 million, that's not something we have in our back pocket. We sort of left it all on the field on this story. There are a couple of things that we didn't know that we're still reporting. And sometimes in similar scandals elsewhere, there are people who have something to share who become a little bit more emboldened to talk about it when some of the first coverage has happened. We're still working to figure out if there are such people out there." So far, $12 million in non-disclosure agreements have been revealed, with Vince McMahon and WWE perhaps set for even more pressure. Right now, Vince McMahon has stepped down from his role as CEO and chairman, with his daughter Stephanie taking on the roles in an interim basis. However, it seems unlikely that he will return to his prior positions should the stories continue to break. And next up, a former champion in WWE is on the verge of leaving the company. Earlier this month, it was reported by Dave Meltzer of Wrestling Observer Radio that the contract of former NXT Women's Champion Io Shirai was set to expire. Word has it that Shirai has no plans on signing a new deal with the company, having told people in Japan that once her contract is up, she wants to return to her home country and be closer to her family. In an update provided on today's edition of the Wrestling Observer Radio, Meltzer would note that Shirai is now halfway gone, and said, "Io Shirai has pretty much got one foot out of the door, pretty much gone. Once her contract does expire, she will not be bound to a non-compete clause, as would be the case if she was released, meaning she is free to begin working elsewhere as soon as she likes, perhaps making a return to stardom alongside fellow former NXT Women's Champion Kairi Sane. Shirai would last wrestle for WWE at the NXT Stand and Deliver event in April during WrestleMania weekend, with her since being out with an injury, although her current injury status is unknown. Next up, a controversial star has been booked for an upcoming independent show. Last night it was announced that former Bullet Club member Marty Scurll is set to appear in an upcoming independent show in Ontario, Canada, with him being booked by Battle Arts Professional Wrestling, a promotion run by former WWE superstar Santino Marella. On Twitter, Santino, real name Anthony Corelli, confirmed that Scurll would be part of one of the promotion's upcoming events on August 13th, in quote, "a way we've never seen him before." The post had a video attached of Marty cutting a promo with clips of him taking part in MMA training overlaid on top. With that said, the booking has caused backlash online following Scurll's involvement in the Speaking Out movement, with him admitting that he had relations with a 16-year-old who he was 10 years older than at the time. Matthew of Botchamania would respond to the tweet with a reference to Santino Marella's backstage encounter with Jim Cornette and said, "Cornette didn't hit you hard enough." Since the allegations were made against Marty, he has appeared in shows mostly in Mexico, Germany, and Poland, with 1 or 2 appearances in Puerto Rico and the state of Georgia, with him seemingly now blacklisted from any larger independent promotions. It seems that Battle Pro had hoped that the heat on Scurll had died down, although going by the backlash they have now received, it doesn't seem to be the case. Next up, an Impact Wrestling star has apologized for comments regarding Chris Benoit. Last week, Impact Knockouts champion Jordynne Grace would trend on Twitter following comments she made about Benoit, stating that the former world champion wouldn't be able to hang in the ring with today's wrestlers, referring to his CTE issues by stating that he wouldn't be able to remember his matches. This would cause backlash from fans and wrestlers alike, who felt that she was using the Benoit family tragedy for clout, with many close to the situation calling out for her insensitive tweets, including Chavo Guerrero, one of his closest friends. Well, in an update from Jordynne's Twitter account, she has now apologized for those affected by her comments, recognizing that she was faultless, failing to recognize the impact her words would have on friends and family close to the situation, and she would write, Last week I made an irresponsible and unnecessary tweet. Regardless of how many personal emotions influenced my opinion, I should have recognized the impact my words would have on friends and family close to the situation. I was completely thoughtless in that regard. Since reflecting this past week, I've reached out privately to friends and family that are angered and hurt. Among those were David Benoit, Chavo Guerrero, and Chris Jericho, who are supporting me in the decision to partner and fundraise with the Concussion Legacy Foundation, formerly Sports Legacy Institute. I have pledged $5,000 with the overall campaign goal being $20,000. I'm acutely aware that the damage has been done. I would never intentionally add on to the suffering of those already dealing with such a traumatic event, and I am sorry for my insensitivity and aggravating this already delicate topic. This is my way of attempting to squeeze something positive out of the negative situation I created. Thank you in advance to everyone who donates. Chavo Guerrero, who had claimed Grace lost all wrestling credibility when doubting Benoit's in-ring talent, would later say that she now has his respect following the apology, giving her kudos for owning up to things. With that said, not everyone close to the situation was as pleased with the outcome. Sandra Toffoloni, the sister of Nancy Benoit, took to Twitter to respond to the tweet, feeling that her sister's legacy had once again been forgotten due to Jordan not reaching out to her side of the family, and Sandra would write, "It's weird, I didn't hear my phone ring. I really thought the work I've been putting in for 15 years trying to keep and elevate my sister's legacy hadn't gone unnoticed. Guess my family is an afterthought again. I don't even know where to start. #heartbroken." The topic is an extremely sensitive one, and it's hard to even comment on, with Benoit's actions forever tarnishing his body of work. Despite being one of the best bell-to-bell talents in history, what he did to his son Daniel and his wife Nancy are completely unforgivable, and his name is probably best left unmentioned. The only body of work in the wrestling business from the situation that should be discussed is that of Nancy Benoit. Next up, a former WWE champion wants to step through the forbidden door. Over recent years, cross-promotion talent trades and events have become commonplace, with the term the forbidden door being coined to describe the relationship between AEW, New Japan Pro Wrestling, as well as Impact Wrestling at one point. With that said, it's not just those three promotions that can be considered forbidden, as one of the most surprising cross-brand appearances came in January 2022, when WWE would get themselves in the mix, allowing then Impact Knockouts champion Mickie James to appear in the Royal Rumble with her Impact belt and music. This week, speaking on WWE's German Instagram page, former WWE champion Kofi Kingston would discuss the idea of stepping through the forbidden door to work in another wrestling promotion, with him citing the incredible talent that he could work with, and he would say, "Since Mickie James came to the Royal Rumble, the quote-unquote forbidden door that was never to be talked about was open. So yeah, there's a lot of different people from a lot of different promotions that are incredibly talented that I'd love to mix it up with and have matches with for sure." Kingston's New Day stable have long teased a match with the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega of the Elite, with Omega perhaps being on his wish list of matches, a match that would see a former AEW and a former WWE champion collide. For now, a crossover between AEW and WWE seems unlikely. However, some AEW stars did recently appear on Raw to pay tribute to John Cena during his 20-year anniversary celebrations, so certainly a never say never situation. But what would your dream AEW versus WWE matchup be? Let me know in the comments down below. And finally, Tony Khan has revealed that a historic AEW deal is coming. In January 2020, All Elite Wrestling would announce the renegotiation of their deal with Warner Media, which saw AEW Dynamite remain on TNT before its move to TBS. On top of this, the deal saw the introduction of a second show, Rampage, airing on Friday nights. The deal is said to be worth $45 million a year, with there being an option for this to be extended by Warner in 2024 at a significantly increased price. This week, AEW President Tony Khan would discuss AEW's current situation, revealing that his promotion is on the verge of a quote historic television deal. And he would say, "I think there's still a lot of time left for the next rights deal. I do believe our future media rights will be important and frankly a very large revenue stream for AEW going forward. Whenever our next media right deal, the next one does kick in, it will be historic. We expect it's going to go very well for us based on how strong we've been performing." It's not clear if Khan is referring to the extension clause that we previously discussed, or perhaps a brand new deal with Warner or another broadcast company. Either way, he seems confident that AEW's television television future is bright, with their current deals set to expire in 2024. It will be interesting to see if AEW will remain on TBS or perhaps another Warner station, although with what's going on in WWE, perhaps Fox could be looking for a new wrestling show come 2024. And before you go, make sure you check out the Moxley era, Jon Moxley's reign as AEW champion.